Hi, and welcome to Three Questions with. I got my longtime friend Nick Aalerud with us. He's from Peak Performance Property Management. Nick, how you been?
I am awesome, Kevin. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about Peak Performance. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm like super stoked about this firm, right? So we have been managing properties since 2009, right? And we've been testing it. We have a lot of our own property in different states, but there's always something missing there. We tried using a whole bunch of third-party management companies, and there were like three different holes that we felt were like really missing. And we launched publicly January of this year. Not publicly, like we're not Wall Street, so like no, I'm not that good. But we're just started servicing clients in January and like super stoked with our new message. We have a new fresh take on it. I think we're doing something different than all other property management companies. So that's kind of why appreciate you having me on to share.
So Nick, if I just own one property, does it make sense to use you guys? Do you need like a minimum, or can you just manage my one property for me?
Yeah, so the basics, right? So a lot of people know what property management is, right? So if you have a rental, let's say you inherited a house, or you have a 3-family or 4-family or 6-family, or even a 30-unit building, you inherited these things and you don't want to take the tenants' toilets and trash phone numbers anymore, right? They call you in the middle of the night. It's all emergency calls. There's never like a good call, like, oh, I'm going to pay the rent early this month. So it's people who want to take less time dealing with that and literally just start doing their own thing if they have a W-2 full-time job, if they're self-employed and are running a business that's totally separate from real estate, they can focus on that and make more money there and let a professional that has systems and scalability and a fresh look on it, take care of it. Now that's the basics, right? So people with single-family homes, absolutely. If they're not in the business and they don't like chasing after people for rent, or if they don't like taking those calls, they can certainly call us. Or the people who we just took on a client with 26 units up in Manchester, New Hampshire, that he just wants to focus on buying another 26 units in the next 6 months. Wow. So he couldn't, take the calls and deal with the maintenance emergencies. And that's the basics. That's not quite what we're super excited about, but that is what we do essentially. Yeah.
So now, do you also help people with planned maintenance? Because what I find is people just wait until something goes wrong. And, you never think, hey, maybe I should paint the units, or maybe, I should be watching the boiler. Can you help them with that too, so it doesn't turn into emergencies?
It's a great segue, Kevin. Yes. So the things that we're pretty excited about, right? I'll just kind of jump right in because I'm a little energetic.
What are we excited about then?
And you and I are kind of high energy people, so I appreciate it, But so this particular our management company, and we're started this thing. It's our baby. It's our fresh thing. We're like, what things can we put in place that no other companies have? Number one is a resident retention program, right? So based on how we service, we look at our residents, right? They're not even tenants to us. They're our residents. They're part of our communities, right? So we look at them as customers because that's what they are. They're the ones paying for our service every month, and they're also paying the landlords for providing them housing every month. So our whole goal is we have to look at this as a complete customer service experience. And if they are going to call us and they're going to say, hey, my smoke detector's going off and I can't replace the battery, even if their lease says they're responsible for that, even if it's a small, tiny little thing, we answer with a smile. We send someone right out. We just take care of it, right? We want to take care of all the little things for them. And by doing those little things and by doing those extras, and let's say they want storage or they want parking or they want a TV screwed into a wall with the backer. If they want anything they want, we start with yes. And we work backwards from there and treat everybody in a customer-centric way, which I think is different. This second thing we do that's a big difference, like you just mentioned, and that also includes, by the way, that resident retention, like e-newsletters. We have big community feel. We have get-togethers. It's like people don't want to leave our communities when they come in. That was really important to us, right? Number two, as you just mentioned, being proactive instead of reactive on the maintenance side. And that's, I think, what definitely puts us out. And we tell our landlords that too. We might not be the best company if you're a landlord that's just going to, hey, I bought this place. I'm going to just ride it into the ground for 15 years. And I don't care what happens to this building. And just send me the cash, send me the cash, send me the cash. I mean, we're not that company. We're a company that takes a seasonal approach and also routine approach to on-site inspections, but we always call them, customer service care visits, right? That's what we call them. And they go through and they're checking actively, seasonally, for anything that goes wrong. And they have an 8-point checklist that they're looking at, such as changing those filters, changing those smoke detector batteries, we have electronic locks on a lot of our properties, so changing out those lock batteries. Anything that could go wrong to prevent a phone call, we try to go with, right? And then the third, since I'm on a roll, right? The third thing is because we're also owners in the space of residential multifamily, we look at it as an owner. So if someone were to hire us, we actually go out to their property even before they purchased it, or if they've just purchased it, and we have what we call a value add 21-point checklist, which no one else has because I created it. And it literally will go through the property and find ways to save money, find ways to decrease expenses, but also find ways to increase income, maximizing literally every square foot of space in and outside that building, and create a place for the tenants to want to just be and hang out, and they're paying for it. So all of those three things we're super excited about, and that's why we're different.
But that totally makes sense to me. Like you said, someone inherits a home, they're a first-time home buyer, investor, and they just don't know about all that stuff. Like you said, you're looking at it saying, okay, what's the cash flow? But you're not planning for things that can go wrong. Or more importantly, what I really liked was that retention piece. Because you find people, they get a piece of property and, every year, everyone's leaving, or they're leaving in the middle trying to break a lease. By keeping them there, good tenants, it's going to make this a lot easier. Nick, how do people reach out to you? How can they learn more? That's it,
and that is the highest cost, right, of any rental unit is the turnover.
Yeah.
It's by far.
The better you can do eliminating that, the more they're going to love you. That's for sure. But to me, you're making those residents feel special. Because you've been in just bad situations where something's wrong and you call the landlord and 6 months later they come fix it. You're coming in, checking it, saying, hey, we're going to need to swap that. That must people must be, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, they love it. And our social media reviews are speaking for themselves. And we're brand new on the public and social side, which is why you're helping us out, kind of promote ourselves. Thank you for that. But every review we're getting, you can see, is like 5-star, 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 both landlords and residents, which is unheard of, really. Usually if landlords love you, the residents don't. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah, definitely. So how can people reach out to you? How can they learn more about this program, bud?
Oh, sure. They can go to our website. It's peakperformancepropertymanagement.com. Peakperformancepropertymanagement.com. They can shoot us an email at info@peakperformancepm.com. And I think our website pretty much goes in depth, but it's a lot of this extra stuff that we just talked about. They want to have a chat with me or Lori or anybody here in the firm. We're well staffed and ready to kind of grow that client-facing business as best we can. And appreciate your network, man, being one of the first one really that we're launching with. So thank you so much.
That's awesome. Nick, I really appreciate your time to hop on the show. So you just watched 3 Questions With, brought to you by the New England B2B Networking Group. For more information, newenglandb2bnetworking.com.